with that, yeah, you can start the session now.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon to all. I would like to welcome Mr. Pankaj Jain, Regional Director India Subcontinent, and Mr. Nishal Joseph, Partner Manager India Subcontinent, UTS College. In KPRIET, we create experiences for students and getting them ready for their future and help them with thinking, ideating, innovative, and engagement. In KPRIET, we offer 8 UG courses and 4 PG courses with overall students of 2,500 and 300 faculties. We don't just teach engineering as a subject, but to practically apply that to solve real world problems and help the community. With this note, I would like to inform the dignitaries that we have 40 such students in our arena to hear uh, ideas. With this note, I would hand over the session to the speakers of today's program. So the session is yours. You can hand over. You can present your screen, or you can start.
Thank you, Bharadwaj. Welcome you all for the session today. Unfortunately, Mr. Pankaj Jain, our regional director, had to go for another meeting, so he would not be able to join us. But yes, I'll be there. I'll be giving you a brief idea about what UTS College is, what courses are available, and then we can take up your questions. Right. So I hope that's a good format for all of you. Oh, can you hear me, guys? Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Bharadwaj, can you hear me? Can any of you confirm if you are able to hear me or see my video?
So the voice is breaking, sir.
Okay, I think there might be some issue with the internet connectivity. Uh, is it better now? Is it better? Any better now, Bharadwaj?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's get into the
Sir,
presentation.
am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, Bharadwaj. I can hear you, Bharadwaj. Yeah. Can you hear me, Bharadwaj?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it is
Is it
clear.
clear now? Okay, fine. So I was mentioning that Mr. Pankaj Jain, he had to leave for another meeting, so he would not be able to join us for the day. But yes, I'll be there. I'll be helping you out with the information about UTS and UTS College. And any questions that you might have, I'll be happy to take them. Right. So the plan for the day is that I have a brief presentation about UTS and UTS College, which I'll be sharing with you. Right. And then we can have an open house kind of session where if you have any further questions, you can ask me. Right. As I think we are a very small group here. If you have any questions, you can kind of ask me during the presentation itself. That will be easier for me to address the question as in when we move through the presentation, right? Or else you can always jot down the question and kind of ask it towards the end of the session. That's also fine with me. Okay, fine. So let's move into the presentation. I'll start sharing my screen. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I hope all of you are able to see my screen fine.
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay, great. Thanks for the confirmation. So we are a part of UTS, that's University of Technology Sydney, and UTS College is a pathway provider to UTS. So any student who are not able to get direct admission to UTS have an option of doing a course with UTS College first, and then once they complete the program, they can move to UTS. So with your current scores, you can still get into UTS. You don't have to spend additional time either any retaking any of those exams. So that is one of the helpful features of UTS College. The other important point or any other like the important reason for our existence is that we provide a lot of additional support to the students, right? We understand students who are moving into international education, they might be having a lot of things going on in their plate right at the same moment. So they're moving away from their family for the first time. There's a new course curriculum they have to tackle. So a lot of things happening at the same time. So we kind of help them with additional support, academic as well as non-academic support, so that it's a bit easier for them to kind of transition to the new academic life they have, right? So we'll be covering these points in much more detail in the subsequent parts of the presentation as well. Okay, so a few points of why students should consider studying in Australia, right? Now, Australia is one of the popular study destination among a lot of students from India, both for graduate as well as postgraduate courses, right? Now, education is a very important industry or sector of the economy for Australia. It's like the third largest export. So, international education is a very important part of the economic system in Australia, right? So, there is a lot of it's a very structured industry as such. So you have the ESOS Act, which kind of ensures that students have their rights. International students typically they have their rights. They are well informed. If they require any help from the government or from the High Commission, they have it at their disposal. So in that ways, Australia is a very conducive environment for international students. Also, from an economic perspective, Australia is a fairly robust economy. Yeah, I agree the pandemic has been a big hit for all the economies globally, but still the Australian economy has been doing fairly well. And similarly, the minimum wage rates were relatively higher. The unemployment rates were relatively lower in the pre-pandemic times. So sooner or later, we would be catching up to those levels in Australia. So yeah, students who are pursuing their courses and would be graduating in a few years would kind of have these advantages to themselves. Right. So we talk about why students should consider studying in Sydney. Now, we have only one campus that is situated in the city of Sydney. And Sydney is a city which has been ranked very high in terms of livability and natural environment. It's one of the prominent cities in Australia, right? It's a port city, and it's a very well connected city when it comes to transport and travel. So a lot of companies have their head offices in Sydney area. Even though the capital of Australia is Canberra, but still Sydney is one of the more prominent cities in Australia, and a lot of companies have their presence. A lot of industries have their presence in Sydney. And overall, Sydney has a very safe and secure environment, which is kind of again helpful for the students. Okay, now let's talk about the location of the city of Sydney. So, we are located in Sydney, and Sydney as a city has several advantages to it. So, it's ranked number 8 among the best student cities globally as per QS ranking 2022. It is a number 2 city for innovation in the Asia Pacific region, and 39%, almost 39% of the population was born overseas. So, it's a very much multicultural environment. You get a lot learn a lot from people from other countries, other regions of the world. That kind of widens your horizon towards the world, right? So that's a very big advantage if you can have while studying abroad. And that's, I think, one of the important reasons why students choose to study in a different country rather than their home country, because it kind of gives them an exposure which is unprecedented, right? You get to interact with students from different parts of the world. You get access to latest in the technology. So all that kind of helps you to be a better student, better learner, and paves a very strong foundation for your subsequent career, right? Okay, from a location perspective, in within the city of Sydney, we are very close to the central train station. Now, that's the main train stations in Sydney. So we students who are living in any part of the city or in the suburbs find it very easy to commute every day for their classes or whatever requirements they have. Also, we are very close to the central business district in Sydney. That is the main economic area in the city, right? So it's that much easier for our students to go out and interact with the corporates for any projects which they might be interested in, or maybe for some part-time jobs, or maybe like working on live projects. all that becomes much more easier. Some of the other universities, they are located in a secluded, faraway area, so students have to spend a lot of time coming to the main city if they need to do anything like reaching out to corporates. So in that terms, you save a lot of time and effort with your central location, right? Also, we are very close to the startup hub in New South Wales. So Sydney has been identified as a startup hub in Australia, and within Sydney, Ultimo area is kind of considered to be the leader in innovation and startups. So we've seen a lot of students show interest in maybe working with a startup or having their own startup sometime later in their lives. So it becomes that much easier for the students to get exposure to the startup culture, see how the startups are working, how they're kind of working on the fundings, the product innovations, all those things. They have like first row view for all those things. So that again helps the students definitely. Okay, some pointers about UTS. UTS stands for University of Technology. We are ranked number one among the young universities in Australia. So UTS is about 35 years old, and any university that is less than 50 years old is considered to be a younger university. Because other universities, a lot of them globally, they're like 150, 200 years old, or maybe older. So younger universities is a separate category, and it kind of shows that how within a short span of less than 50 years, the university has kind of grown so much in terms of academics, research, infrastructure, providing the best education to the students. So that's definitely a big achievement for us. And UTS, it started off as a technology university. That's why we have the name University of Technology Sydney. But in the recent years, we've kind of expanded the gamut of subjects that we offer. So now we offer cutting edge courses in not only in engineering but also in sciences, communication, business, mathematics. All those applied courses which are in demand among the students are available at UTS, right? And we kind of work for inclusive education, be students from any part of the world, any nationality, any religion, kind of have wish to have an inclusive education for our students. So all that kind of helps the students to grow, right? And there are other few points like we work on innovation and entrepreneurship. And we wish to have a good impact on the society and on the economy as a whole. Right. The next slide talks about some of the rankings that we have. So, as I shared with you earlier, also UTS is ranked number one among the young universities in Australia. This is both as per QS ranking and THE ranking. These are the two pioneering bodies which kind of rank international education institutions. And as per both, we are ranked number one in the young university section in Australia. And globally, we are ranked number 9 and 11 for young universities across the world. And in terms of employability, we are ranked number 22 globally by the QS ranking for 2022. Right? Again, a strong testimony of how our students are able to get placed easily, and how the students, the previous students are kind of excelling in their respective areas. So that kind of helps the students, the university to get these kind of rankings. Right. These are some of the advantages you would have once you start studying at UTS. Our courses are globally recognized, so no matter which part of the world you are working in after your course at UTS, your courses would be recognized and you would be getting the due share or respect for those courses. Also, we're known for our teaching excellence. Our teachers, our faculty members have vast experience both in industry and in academics, so that kind of helps the students to understand their subjects much better. We provide a lot of support services, as I mentioned earlier, so not just academic support, but also non-academic support, which the students might require, maybe in the form of help with the accommodation, or maybe some counseling they require, or maybe any guidance which they might require. That's available at UTS, right? And also, one of the advantages of UTS is the practice-oriented learning. So most of the courses which we offer are application-based courses, and it's an important aspect that we kind of have some practical orientation or practical aspect to it added to the subjects. That helps the students to relate what they're studying in their classroom versus what they'll actually do in their jobs or in the next stages of their life. So that helps to the students to realize what is the importance or what is the significance of whatever activity they're doing in their study time, right? So that again helps the students to get a better perspective. and we try to incorporate it in the form of maybe internships, working on live projects, working with live data, working with the corporates. All those things helps the students to do better and get a more practical oriented approach to studies. And we are also we have strong industry connections through our alumni and also our faculty members who have been a part of the industry. And generally, we have the industry interaction cell who kind of reaches out to corporates for seminars, for mentorship. All those activities happen as well. We also have world-class facilities, and overall, our graduates are work ready. So companies find that our graduates can hit the ground running. They require lesser training before they can kind of actually start on working on live projects. So that again is an advantage for the students. Right. In the next slides, I'll share some of the snapshots of the infrastructure and the buildings which we have. So we have over 20 campus buildings. Ours is a city campus, so the buildings are spread out in a small area. It's all walking distance between any of the two areas, so it's very convenient that ways. And as I shared earlier, we're not a campus which is like secluded away from the main city. We are bang in the middle of the city, heart of the city exactly, and it's very convenient for the students, right? And I think in the past years we have spent close to $1.3 billion in upgrading our infrastructure so that it becomes supportive to the students' learning process. This is the central building. This was inaugurated in the year 2019, and this houses the student hub and study spaces. It also has a Hive Super Lab. I'll talk about the Super Labs in the later slides. We also have an automated library, which is housed in this building. So a fairly advanced building in itself. This is the business school. This is called the Chow Chak Ping building, and this houses the business courses at graduate and postgraduate levels. It's got student common areas, seminar rooms, and oval classrooms, which are more conducive for discussion-based learning, 24-hour access. And this was designed by a world-renowned architect called Mr. Frank Gehry. And roughly, it's shaped like a crushed paper bag. Those from the civil engineering background might understand that it's not a easy design to materialize because the bricks don't stack one on top of the other. But yes, the teams worked hard, and it's kind of a local sightseeing in the city, to be honest. Right. This is the FEIT building. That's Faculty of Engineering and IT, and houses the IT related courses. Again, this is a very advanced building in terms of its design. It's got a lot of sensors and uh, technology which helps to reduce the carbon footprint. We try to recycle a lot of waste which is generated by the building within itself, and that kind of reduces the carbon footprint. It also houses the data arena, which is a 360-degree data visualization facility. I'll be covering about that in the later slides. Right. This might be of interest to you. This is our tech lab. This is a little further away in the industrial part of the town as per the government requirements. And this houses the advanced engineering facilities like structural and dynamic research, acoustics lab, 5G lab, multimedia and data analytics laboratory, motion simulation lab, dyno testing. All those engineering kind of testing at advanced level are available in this building, right? Right. This is the Hive Super Lab which we have. Now, you might have heard about a Super Lab. So a Super Lab is a very efficient design for a laboratory. So instead of having different laboratories of physics, chemistry, and biology, you have one single laboratory which can house experiments from across subject areas, right? So it's that much modular, that much efficient in terms of space utilization. And maybe like these super labs can house more than 200 students in one go. So either if you have a large batch, you can have the entire strength doing working on the same experiment, or you would have smaller subsets, maybe 8 or 10 students working on one project, on one experiment. The other area could be working on another experiment. It's kind of that modularity in utilization is available. So you can, as you can see, it's color coded in different areas. So different areas could be either working on different experiments, or all of them could be working on the same experiment, depending on the requirement. This is the older super lab which we have, which is called the Science Super Lab. Again, this could house more than 200 students in one shot, right? And I think we are one of the few universities globally which have two super labs with them. So that's again an achievement for us. Here also the students work on benches which can house 8 students and one teacher, and they communicate using audiovisual equipments, and it's a very, again, very modular design for having a science laboratory. Right. This is the data arena. As I mentioned earlier, this 360-degree, three-dimensional data visualization facility. We all know that data analysis is coming up in a big way. Companies are spending a lot of money collecting and analyzing data, right? So if you are able to visualize the data properly, it's that much easier to work with data, right? Right? It's easier to draw inferences, make projections if you have a good visual representation of the data. So this facility is used by a lot of corporates who kind of you require these kind of uh, data visualization facilities. So that again gives our students an opportunity to work with the corporates, kind of understand how the real world problems are being solved by data analytics. So again, an advantage for our students. Right. This is the additive printing or 3D printing facility that we have for our students called Protospace. So, as you all would agree that 3D printing is coming up in a big way. It's not just for prototyping, but also for a main production line. The companies are exploring the options of having 3D printed parts. Right. So, our students also have access to these facilities. They can work on projects, understand the process better, and kind of be ready to work on these technologies once they move into their jobs. Right. So these are some of the snapshots from movies created by our students, digital movies created by our students. We offer a program with in association with Animal Logic. Animal Logic is a leading international provider for VFX and special effects. They've worked on several prestigious projects in Hollywood, such as Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Lego Movie 2, Matrix movies from the early 2000s. So they have a very rich body of work, and they've come together with UTS to provide animation based courses. And the top screenshot, which you can see a girl flying a plane, that was a movie which one of our students created. This was called Jasper and was commissioned by the Royal Australian Air Force. This was to commemorate the achievements of squadron leader Jacqueline Killian, and was used by the Royal Air Force to promote STEM learning among children in schools. Right. So again, how our okay, just to show how our students are working with the government and the society for the betterment at large. Right. These are the broad subject areas where we are offering courses to our students. So as you can see, most of these are application-based courses which are in demand by the students currently. We don't offer the traditional courses like English honors or history honors or maybe those courses. But yeah, most of the application-based courses are available at UTS. This slide talks about practice-oriented learning. As I shared earlier, we pay a lot of attention to ensure that students get exposure to real-life scenarios, right? They kind of are able to relate to whatever they're learning in their classrooms. How is it actually going to help them once they join the industry or maybe take up research jobs? So that kind of gives the students a better perspective of why they are learning what they are learning. So kind of adds value to the learning process. Right. These are some of the other kind of options available for students to hone their skills. We have the build program for developing leadership skills. We have the global exchange program where students are able to travel to another university for a few weeks and kind of study there with the students in those universities and kind of get a better perspective, global perspective. We also have the UTS Hatchery, which is like a startup incubation center available for students or who have students who have good ideas to work with. Right. So far, we've covered about UTS, that's the main university. Now, the subsequent slides will be covering about UTS College. That's the institute that I represent, right? And UTS College is a subdivision or a subsidiary in a broad sense for UTS. So we are very closely working with each other. And the main objective of UTS College is provide students to UTS. So there's a very strong correlation between what we do and what UTS does. Right. So when we talk about the value of pathway, the main objective is to provide support for the student. As I shared earlier, any international student, they have a lot of things going on in their life once they start a course abroad. So we kind of provide them simplify the learning aspect so that it's easier for them to adjust, right? It's been seen that the first semester or the first year for any international student is very critical. That's when the maximum drop-offs happen. So we try and ensure that the student has a smooth sailing in the first semester or the first year so that their degree in the later years is that much easier, right? We also provide a lot of social support, social activities so that it's easier for students to transition smoothly. Sorry. Also, we focus on international students because domestic students don't have a lot of problems settling in. So it's the international students who require a little more support, and that's for what we are here for. And we provide collaborative learning, so, and a lot of personal attention is also available for the students. A few points about UTS College. Okay, if these would be the top three reasons why students should consider studying at UTS College. First and foremost, we have very strong connections with UTS. As I shared earlier, we are like a part of UTS. So our course curriculum are directly derived from UTS. So there's a perfect synergy between courses that's taught at UTS and UTS College. Whatever credits you get by studying at UTS College, you can get them easily transferred for your course at UTS, right? Our course curriculum is designed in association with UTS, so there's again a very good fit between the two. And also the infrastructure which is there, it's all shared. So you would be working on those labs and laboratories which I just shown, which are a part of UTS from the very first day. Second important reason is we provide a very supportive learning environment. So the classroom sizes are smaller. So there's a lot of support from teachers for academics. You have peer mentors who are like students from the previous batch. Sorry, who will be helping you with the academics. So all those things ensure that you have a good, smooth sailing in your courses. And the third important aspect is the student experience. So again, it's kind of derived from UTS. We encompass new technologies and innovative model of learning. The curriculum is international and very much up to date. And the teachers engage in frequent professional development so that they're able to pass on the benefits to the students. Okay, UTS College offers four kind of courses: English programs, foundation studies, diploma programs, and pre-masters program. For you, only the pre-masters courses would be suitable, as the other courses are for students after class 12, right? So we'll kind of move on to the pre-masters program. Yeah, these are the support services which are available to students. So academic support as well as non-academic support is available for students at every stage. And just to ensure that you transition smoothly from your graduate degree to your postgraduate degree. Right. This is a slide about live online. So as you all know, currently the international borders are closed and students have the option of studying online. So this helps students to save time. So sorry, instead of waiting for the borders to open, they can start their course right now so that by the time the borders are open in the next few months, they are ready to move on to the university onshore and continue with the program, right? So it's based on the LMS, Canvas LMS that we use for our students, and these are live classes. These are not recorded lectures, so it's a very like there is full participation of students and teachers during the lectures. And once the class is over and you've attended it, then you can get the recording. That's always available. But yeah, these are live lectures, not unlike the other platforms which are available, which primarily have their recorded lectures. So it's a two-way communication which helps you resolve your doubts in real time. Right. This slide is about Studiosity. This is a service which has been made available for students because of the pandemic. So students can get their written assignments reviewed before submission. The subject matter experts at Studiosity would kind of go through it and provide comments to the students to improve their assignment submissions. So this helps the students to get better scores. And this is a free service for the students. The students don't have to pay anything for it. The university bears the cost for this. Right. These are some of these student activities which the students can engage in. We have the Activate UTS Club, Activities Club at UTS, volunteering program, student council. So this kind of helps you interact with new students, interact with more people, take up positions of responsibility. So all those kind of development happens here. Right, these are the accommodation options for students. So UTS has its own accommodation facility, and also we work with third-party vendors for better rates, for like better price packages. This is as per the government calculations. So you would be required to show at least $21,000 for a single person for each year of your stay at UT at in Australia, right? So these are available on the government websites of Australia standards material. Right. So thus far we completed the main information about the UTS and UTS College. Any questions so far? The next section of the presentation is about the pre-master's course, which is being offered. So anything you would like to ask, you can ask me now, or you can kind of we can take up the questions towards the end. I'm okay with that as well. Bharatwaj, any questions?
Yeah, sir. The thing is, in this arena we have got 40 students, and
Right.
this video is just streaming live on YouTube.
Right.
So all the questions will be charted by me, and I will post the questions at the end of the session.
Fine. That's fine with me. So let's go into the next part of the presentation, which is about the pre-master's program, right? So, as you might understand, a pre-master's program is a step below a master's program. So, students who are not able to get direct admission to the master's course have an option of doing a pre-master's course with UTS College. And once they complete that course, they move to the second semester at UTS, right? So, with your current score, with your current backlogs, you still have an option of getting into UTS, which otherwise might not have been possible for a student, right? And this is a relatively newer course, so we will be running our first batch from the next year, from this semester. Like the September intake was the first intake when we started the classes. So it's still a very fairly new course, but yes, it's a well proven course because, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's derived directly from UTS. So the course curriculum is world class, and it's going to help you once you are at UTS. Right. So it's available in two formats, the 4 month course and the 8 month course. So depending on what scores you have in your academics or your English, you would accordingly be assigned to a 4 month course or a 8 month course. The 4 month course is a little more strenuous. It's called the accelerated course because you'll be covering a lot of content within a short duration of 4 months, and there is no English subject in the 4 month program. So this has a relatively higher English requirement. The 8 month program is a little more relaxed, so it's called the standard program, and it's got a few modules from English. So even if you have a little lower score in English, you can still take up this course and get to UTS. This is the progression for the student. So the first is path is for the accelerated program. So you do a 4 month accelerated program, and then you move to the second semester in first year directly, and then you move on to complete your third and the fourth semesters at UTS. Similarly, sorry, if you are if you are taking up the standard program, that would be for 8 months, and once you complete that 8 months would have 2 semesters of its own. Once you complete that course, you move to the second semester of the master's program, and then the third and the fourth semester, that is right. This is the fee structure. So we have three main subject areas in the pre-master's courses: communication, accounting and finance, and technology practice. And I think most of you would be more interested in the technology practice subjects because those are the ones related to engineering. Communication is like journalism kind of courses, and accounting and finance is more towards an MBA for students who wish to do a finance-based, like themed MBA. That would be suitable for them. And technology practices like the engineering related subjects. Okay, let's talk about the entry requirements. So the from an academic perspective, we require the students to have completed a degree, associate degree, or an advanced diploma from a Section 2 or a Section 3 university in India. So KPRIET kind of qualifies for that, so you don't need to worry about that. The English requirement, we require 6.5 overall, 6 in writing for the accelerated program. Sorry, and it's a little lower for the standard program. That's 6 overall and 6 in writing. Yeah, this is the academic requirement as I shared with you. We need at least a 3-year bachelor's degree from a Section 2 or a Section 3 university. So your institute already qualifies for that, so you don't need to worry about that. Right. These are the courses available in the accounting and finance area, and kind of similar, good for students who wish to do a MBA in finance in the later section. Right. So we accept up to 40% subject failures, while UTS accepts only up to 25% subject failures. So students have an extra 15% leeway if they're applying through UTS College. Similarly, these are the courses available for the communication or journalism kind of subjects. And here again, we are accepting up to 40% subject failures, whereas UTS only accepts up to 25% subject failures for direct admission. Right. This would be the section more interesting to you, masters for the technology practice courses. So these are the 5 subject areas in engineering where we can offer you a pre-master's program: Masters of Engineering Extension, Master of Professional Engineering, Master of Information Technology Extension, Master of Information Technology, and Master of Data Sciences and Innovation. Right. Now, for engineering extension and the professional engineering courses, as well as the IT extension program, we require students to have done the corresponding course at the graduate level also. For example, if you desire to do a master's in, say, civil engineering, so we would prefer that students have completed civil engineering in their graduate level also. They've done the similar subjects. The courses like information technology and data sciences and innovation, they don't have any requirement for such prior learning. So students from any background can take up these courses. So it's much easier in terms of access. Sorry. And in terms of subject failures, we accept up to 35% subject failures for the technology practice pre-masters, whereas UTS requires the students to have failed not more than 25% of the subjects. So the students have an additional 10% leeway when it comes to academic failures. Right. These are the subject areas which are available for courses at UTS. So once you complete your pre-master's course, you could take up any of these subjects for your majors at the master's level. So you have biomedical engineering, civil engineering, computer control engineering, cybersecurity. All of these courses are like in-demand courses, and you could take up courses of your choice. The last option, no specified major, that's like a generic master's program. So you could do that course as well. If you're like kind of want to keep your options open, that could be a good option. Right. Next slide is about the scholarship. So we have a scholarship of up to $4,000 for the accelerated program and $8,000 for the standard program. And the eligibility will be assessed after the students submit their application. So there is no academic criteria as such for the scholarship. Once you submit your application, we'll do a holistic review of the application and accordingly allot you the scholarship. We right now, it's being the pandemic time, we understand the students are facing a lot of challenges, so we are a little more generous. We're trying to be a little more generous with the scholarships. So we'll see what best we can do for the students. Right. So these are some points you could consider for taking up courses at UTS for the pre-master's courses. Guaranteed entry to UTS. You get 24 credit points by completing your pre-master's course, and those would get transferred to UTS once you move for the second part of your studies, right? And the outcomes are similar as the first semester at UTS, so you don't lose out on the learning bit. It's just that it's a little more easier with UTS College, right? Some other points which are there, we can always go through them. I'll be sharing a copy of the presentation with your teachers, so it'll be easier for you to kind of go through it later on. I'll also share a copy of the brochure from UTS for the Masters in Engineering program. So that will have all the details of the subject areas available, the duration, the requirements, all those things would be available. So it'll be easier for you to kind of refer back to them and see what best works for you. Right. This is the contact sheet for us. So we have a small team here in India of about 5 people, and you can note down these numbers for us. If you wish to ask any questions from us, you can go ahead and drop us an email or give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. Right. Yeah, pretty much that's it from our side for the presentation today. With this, I'll stop sharing my screen and we can take up any questions that you might have.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure to have a session with you all. So, any questions, fire away. Let's see if we can help them.
Sure, sir. I have started out the questions that has been asked by the students in online and in this arena.
Okay,
So I will just represent their questions to you. So in
sure,
behalf
sure,
of them, I am representing their questions.
sure.
So the first question is asked by chemical engineering student. What kind of industrial exposure can I get?
Right. So, chemical engineering, definitely there's a lot of industry-oriented application for those students. So we do work with a lot of companies. I think you can visit our website for more details of the specific companies of in the chemical engineering area, or maybe the research, the kind of research that we've been doing in the chemical engineering area. So that will help you give a get a better idea of what kind of placement or support or exposure you might get by doing a course at UTS, right? I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And my next question is it's just a question from YouTube. The student who was sees program from YouTube. So, what kind of cultural exposure that we can get while entering in UTS college? So,
Okay.
what is the kind of cultural mix that they have?
Right. So almost one third of the students at UTS are international students from different nationalities. So again, it becomes a very potpourri kind of a situation where we have students coming in for, and not just students, even teachers coming in from different parts of the world, interacting with each other. We have a lot of societies, sorry, societies and clubs where you can participate, kind of get to know students from other cultures, other countries. So that kind of exposure is available. And as it is, Sydney is very metropolitan city. You have residents who are coming in from different parts of the world. So that again gives you a good exposure of different cultures, different foods, different festivals. It's a very great experience for the students from a cultural perspective at UTS. Definitely. And just to add, we also have the exchange program options. Right now, it's on hold because of the international border issues. But yeah, once the borders are open, the student would have the option of start visiting other universities and completing parts of their course abroad as well.
Thank you, sir. And the next question is from a mechanical engineering student. So he asks about the research support.
Could you repeat
If
the question?
they want to pursue their advanced research
Right.
after doing everything, if they want to pursue advanced research there in UTS, do they have any kind of research support
Yes, yes.
for doctorates?
We do have a very strong research base at UTS, right? So while if you have a good idea which you wish to pursue further for research, you can start working with the research guides. Like if you're talking about a PhD student, students who wish to do take up a PhD program at UTS, they can directly approach the faculty guides through the website. The website lists the subject matter experts for various subjects. You can discuss your ideas with them, and they would, if they have any positions available with them for taking a student for PhD or higher research, they will kind of get back to you, and you can take up the do the rest of the application process. Or maybe like if you are on campus, you completed your masters, and then you wish to go for the PhD or higher research, you can apply for that as well.
Thank you, sir. And my next question is incubation. If I have an idea to incubate, can I avail the incubation facility there?
Yes,
Do they have
as I
any
shared
incubation
with you,
facilities?
we do have an incubation facility. It's called the Hatch City, and you can, if you have really good ideas, depending on the how many students are applying for those facilities. You can accordingly see what best works for you. You can submit your ideas, and it could be incubated further. And as it is, we are, as I mentioned, we are in the kind of startup precinct in Sydney. So you could kind of reach out to other incubation centers in the area and see if someone is interested in your idea. That also option you can explore.
Thank you, sir. And the next question is for the pre-master's course, is there any CGPA requirements?
CGPA, no, we don't have a CGPA requirement as such. We just need to finish you. We just need you to finish your course engineering program, and you need to complete it with the specified subject failure. So typically for the technology practice courses, we accept a maximum of 35% subject failures. So that criteria should be met. That's the only academic criteria we have.
Okay, thank you. So one more question. I think so. This is also related to the previous only. Is
Right?
there any additional study courses? Do I need to do any additional study courses? Is or my bachelor degree is enough? The courses that I study in bachelor degree is enough.
Yeah, the courses which you've done in your bachelor's, those would be sufficient. Since KPRIT runs a very prestigious program, it's well reputed, well recognized. You don't need to do any additional course after that. With your academic background, with your engineering degree as a academic background, you can very well apply for courses at UTS College.
Thank you. So the last question, this the questions have been ended. So the last question is, what kind of social activities that the students will undergo?
Your voice is
This is a
breaking,
question from my
Raj.
side.
If you could repeat the question, your voice is breaking off. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Is it is it audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Yeah. So the question from my side. This is the last question for the day. What kind of social activity that the student will undergo there in UPS?
Right. So when it comes to social activities, we have different clubs which are available at UTS as well as UTS College. So if you are interested in maybe photography or movies or sports, you could join the respective clubs, right? We also have the student council, which is like an elected body of student members. So you could run for those positions as well, something similar to what we have here. It's not like a student politics kind of a thing, but yeah, it's more for the general welfare, it's for the students, for the representation which is required, right? And also, as it is as a city, Sydney has a lot to offer for when it comes to cultural activities. So you could kind of sign up for those as well. And like said, the Sydney City Film Festival is very popular. It used to happen in January, first month of the year, like month of January every year earlier for the pandemic. So that's again a very popular event which happens where a lot of students, a lot of general people also come in and kind of enjoy the movies. So we have a lot of activities happening throughout the year for cultural interaction, getting to know different cultures. So that there'll be a lot of opportunities for you. What I would suggest you is you could sign up for the New South Wales. There's a website for studying New South Wales. So that's oriented towards the students who wish to study in New South Wales. That's the state in which Sydney is present, right? So they on at that level also they conduct several events, cultural events for the students. So you can participate in those as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as I shared earlier, I'll provide a copy of the presentation and also the brochure for the
So
UTS courses,
with
master's
this,
courses.
we have Chem.
Yeah, I was saying that I'll provide a copy of the presentation and the brochure for the master's courses in engineering to Sir, and he'll kind of share it further with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to get back to us.
Yes, yes, sure. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
So with this, we have come to the end of today's session. So I would like to thank the speaker for his valuable presentation and for his kind answering of the questions that has been posed by our students. So we would like more students would like to join UTS in future.
Sure.
Thank you,
It
sir.
was a
Thank you
pleasure
for the
interacting with all
presentation.
of you. A really good audience, good questions. It always help, kind of encourages us as we have good questions coming in from the students. So we'll be happy to help you with any more information which you require, and maybe we'll see some of you at the university in the next few years. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.